We've all probably heard the joke, or, maybe it's more based in fact. I don't know. The husband and wife are getting ready, and he asks the wife if she would like to go out for dinner that night, and she says, certainly she would. And so he says, well, where would you like to go? And she says, oh, I don't care. Wherever you want to go is fine. You choose. And so, I used, references close to where I am. So he says, well, what about Jay Alexander's? And she says, no, I'm not really in the mood for that kind of noise level. Okay, well, the husband says, what about Chewy's? And she says, no, Mexican's not really what I'm looking for. Well, where would you like to go? Well, I don't care. Wherever you want to go is fine. Maybe that joke hits a little too close to home for some. It certainly defines parts of my life. But in fairness, we are all inundated with all different kinds of choice overload, what a lot of people call the paradox of choice. We think that if we have more choice, we have more freedom. But in reality, when we have more choice, we just have more anxiety. So we can see this pretty much on our television. In my television particularly, we have cable at our house, probably 300 to 500 different channels. There's nothing on. Now I have Amazon Prime, I have Apple TV Plus, I have Hulu, I have Discovery Plus, I have Disney Plus, I have Tubi, and I have found myself sometimes at night spending 30 to 45 minutes just sorting through what's available, only to discover there's nothing here that I want to watch. We see it in our refrigerators. We go grocery shopping and we stock our refrigerators full of things, and then we get a little hungry, and so we open up the door and we look, and there is nothing to eat. We see it in our closets. We have closets packed with clothes we have collected over the years, for something for every season, something for every occasion, something for every color palette. And we go into the closet in the morning to get ready for work, and we look around and we just don't have anything to wear. This paradox of choice freezes us at times. For me, part of my journey into, whether you want to call it minimalism or essentialism, part of my journey began with my clothes. I was seeing people on YouTube videos and, done some studying about Steve Jobs and others who had one simple wardrobe they wore every single day. And I went with black pants because I was a little overweight, and black makes you look thinner, they say. I don't know if it helped me or not. I got a series of shirts that looked almost identical from Dillard's. They have button-down collars and stripes, and I did away with the ties. I rolled my sleeves up. I hardly ever wear a long sleeve shirt that I don't roll my sleeves up. And that was it. For about the last 3 years of work, that was my go-to. Black shoes, black socks, a black t-shirt. And it just became, in the morning, it was just so much simpler to get up and get ready, and I knew what I was going to do, and as long as I had a shirt that was clean, I was good. And I didn't really have any choice to make. And suddenly I realized I wasn't quite as anxious as I used to be. It wasn't totally anxious-free, and I wasn't anxiety-free, but there was just this little bit. All of these things matter. All of these things mount up. And this is why people go with a minimalism lifestyle, even if it's just a little bit. They are removing the anxiety of the paradox of choice and getting down to just, here are 2 or 3 things. Now, in the issue of our husband and wife, there are over 30 restaurants within a half a mile of my house. And so if I were to ask someone where they want to go eat, they now have at least 30 choices, or we could go downtown. There are between 600 and 800 restaurants in Hamilton County, if you count all the fast food places. That's a lot of choice. And if the husband were to say instead, he said, where would you like to go? Well, I don't care. Wherever you want to go is fine. And if he would say something to the tune of, thinking about what his wife typically likes, would you like to get Italian or would you like to get Mexican? Now she has two choices. And once you narrow down that, the husband can choose any. She says, oh, I think Italian would be good. He could choose any Italian restaurant he wants, and she would be happy. And the problem is solved. This level of anxiety over making a decision is almost eliminated completely. These are the things that we work toward. And even if you don't embrace, I don't embrace the totality of minimalism in my home. I still have stuff around that a lot of minimalists would have gotten rid of by now. I have things that I will never get rid of that have no utility for me whatsoever, but they are part of who I am. This desk, you probably can't see it, but this desk back here behind me, my dad bought this desk when my oldest daughter was 2. And I've had that desk ever since. And I will have it until I die. She has no place for it, or she would take it. But to choose something, whether it is your wardrobe, or whether it is your kitchen, or whether it is just the mantelpiece, to choose something and eliminate the clutter of that place and take out the multitude of choices you have to make every single day, you will see a positive impact. You don't have to go full-blown minimalist. Nobody's recommending that on this channel. There are people who do. I'm not that guy. But to choose something that will help you eliminate the anxiety of the paradox of choice, even if it's just a little thing, you will see the benefits pay off. Let's face it. If you go to Red Lobster, if that's your place to go, 9 times out of 10, people are going to buy the same thing every time they go. If you go to J. Alexander's, 9 times out of 10, you're going to order the same thing every time you go. This menu is filled with options. There are great meals available, but we got this one, and we're going to stick with the one. We've already become a minimalist, and we may not even know it. Another way that we can sort of minimize this problem of anxiety that grips us so often is to try our best to give up the need for perfection. I made a mention in a video recently where I was making a cake. My grandfather, we were building our house, and my grandfather and my uncle were the contractors, and my dad and I, we were the carriers and the hammerers, but we weren't allowed to use a saw. We weren't going to cut anything. We could nail it in, but we couldn't measure it or cut it. And when we would go, my grandfather, we would finish something, my grandfather would kind of joke, well, it's good enough for who it's for. And that has sort of become a motto for me. It's good enough for who it's for. I have, and I'm about to share with you what I'm doing in my bedroom. I'm almost to that point. I have a picture there that I put in, and I put it in one of my videos not too long ago. It's 5 feet wide. It's the valley city of Assisi, and I took this picture about 7 years ago on a crop sensor camera with a mediocre lens in broad daylight. I didn't know what I was doing with photography at the time, and on my phone, the picture looks great. On my laptop screen, the picture looks great. But when I blew it up to 5 feet wide and almost 4 feet tall, I realized it wasn't sharp. It's not even close to being in focus. It has all kinds of noise in it. It's not a good picture. But I love it, and it's good enough for who it's for. because I am not going to worry about getting that picture perfect. I'm just going to enjoy it. And that takes the anxiety off of things, to know that we don't have to be perfect all the time. And the last thing we can do when we're dealing with this kind of anxiety that comes from the paradox of choice is to just be compassionate to ourselves. Just understand that we're struggling and it's okay. We're going to get better. We're going to make some changes. It is going to improve. But right now, we just need to breathe. We just need to be. We need to be compassionate to ourselves. We need to be compassionate to our spouse, compassionate to our children, compassionate to our coworkers, compassionate to the waiter at the restaurant we go to, compassionate to the person ringing up I almost said at Walmart, but Walmart doesn't have anybody to ring up your stuff anymore. But when you go to these places, to exercise compassion eliminates the anxiety. These are just some of the things that we can think about to try to become more at ease in our own world. Find something, minimize the choices around it, and take that load off of your brain. Try to eliminate this need for perfection in everything. And I understand that's harder for some people than it is for others. It's pretty easy for me because I've never been perfect at anything. And yet I think one of the reasons that I procrastinate so much is because inside I am a perfectionist. And when I know it's not going to be perfect, I just don't do it. And to overcome that and allow myself to breathe knowing that imperfection is okay allows me to get up off my behind and do what I need to do, like make videos. And then if we will just practice a little bit of compassion, first to ourselves and then to others, we can begin to ease the anxiety that this culture of choice has thrust upon us. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time.